December 14th brings us another animated Santa. This one is caught in the middle of a war against orcs. Wait. They're called what? Aguas? Are you sure about that?
Don't be afraid, little one. You're with friends. I'm Claus, and this is Tingler, Shiegra, and Blinky.
I'm Weekum, and I guess I got lost, and I saw your house, and I stepped into this big drift of snow, and it was very cold, and...
Well, you're all right now, Weekum.
Erwin Saul Hamburger, who had come to work under the name Earl Hammond, was born in New York City in 1921. He began acting in radio dramas as early as the age of 7 and would continue working in radio for more than 50 years. Shortly after graduating from high school, he would move across the country to Los Angeles, where he would study acting at the Los Angeles City College. A brief stint in the military followed when he was drafted into the Army for World War II, after which he returned to New York City and resumed his radio career. Hammond worked frequently on television, beginning with Kraft Theater in 1950, and also played a recurring role on Rocky King Detective, as well as playing the title role in the 1950s television series Buck Rogers. But his most fondly remembered work came later in his career, when he became an audiobook reader and a cartoon voice actor. Hammond voiced both the characters of Jaga and Mum-Ra in the Thundercats, and he lent his voice to Monstar in Silverhawks, as well as providing voice work for the American dub of Star Blazers. And in 1994, he was personally selected by Pope John Paul II to be the voice of John Paul for the audiobook of his publication, Crossing the Threshold of Hope.
Why, we've crossed the entire valley in just a few leaps. It's almost like flying.
Now I know why they call it Laughing Valley.
The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus is a 1985 Rankin Bass production based on the book of the same title by L. Frank Baum, and I have to tell you, that book is one of my personal favorites. The animation was completed mostly in Japan, as part of a co-production deal with TV Asahi. TV Asahi would then air the special in Japan under the title Santa's Secret and Great Adventure. It was the last of Rankin Bass's productions to be filmed with the Animagic stop-motion technique. Every special they produced following after that was produced using traditional animation. The timing of this production means that Hammond isn't the only member of the Thundercats cast that you'll find in this show. As the special was in production, Rankin Bass was actually working on Thundercats. So most of that classic 80s cartoon series cast winds up making an appearance in this special. The hour-long special makes some significant edits to the story, but for the most part, it's very faithful to the book. Santa Claus is a young foundling who is raised by a nymph living in the forest of Burzee. When he nears his coming of age, he tours the world with the Great Ack. And after seeing the suffering that mortals, and in particular mortal children, face, he makes the decision to leave the forest of Burzee and work to try to bring some joy into the world.
Mr. Claus, if you make another toy, we're coming for you. Signed, King Agua. Who is King Agua?
Stylistically, this special falls in between Rankin Bass's two most popular productions. I'm speaking, of course, of 1964's Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and 1977's The Hobbit. It uses the stop-motion animation that the studio was famous for, but it marries it to the willowy character designs and the high fantasy concepts of their previous Tolkien adaptations. And in that space in between, Earl Hammond fits perfectly. He was a heroic fantasy voice of the era, and it is that sort of sound that a lot of people are still nostalgic for when they think of 80s entertainment. But even with a booming sense of the fantastic and the magical, it's still a voice that captures the simplicity and joy of the earlier Christmas specials. Rankin Bass produced a lot of Christmas specials in their time, and a lot of those specials feature Santa Claus. And they changed the actor playing Santa Claus a lot. What do you think of Earl Hammond's take on this high fantasy version of Santa Claus? Let me know. That's what the comments are there for. You can also let me know by hitting like or dislike if you want. If you haven't subscribed yet, there's a subscribe button down there and a bell you can ring for notifications. You can also share this video to get more of your friends into the conversation. What I'm trying to say is, this video exists because of viewers like you. Well, at least they match now. Until the next time, I am Glenn Williams, the film optimist. Make sure that you watch like it means something. And take care of yourself, because you know that I'm not there to take care of you.